Hey, welcome back. So I just finished Your Sky, and oh my goodness. This is the best series that Domundi has ever put out. And I've seen the majority of Domundi's series. This one, she's the one. The casting, perfection. The chemistry between the cast, perfection. The storyline, the writing, like everything was just too good. It's very rare that a very fluffy show with a little depth gets done correctly. And Your Sky, she came correct. She came prepared. And she ate the girlies up. Now, Domundi is known at this point, I feel like, for having like the best pairings. When it comes to chemistry, the pairings in Domundi, like they just chef's kiss. I don't know what kind of magic they got going on in Domundi. Is it secretly like a matchmaking service? I don't know. But the pairs, they clock in and they get that job done, okay? Because every single pairing in this series was a 10 out of 10. T-Rock and Moonfa, yes. Hia and Real, yes. Lee and what was TT's name in this series? Was it Guy Lee? I think that's what it was. But yes, even Babe and Dom was cute sometimes over there in the corner. The chemistry in general between all of the cast, well, all of the characters in the friend groups, the relationships, everything, just tens across the board. I feel like the casting, whoever was responsible for casting this series, you did your big one, babes. You ate that up. Now, as far as the plot goes and the writing, I'm not gonna lie, when I first started the series, I was a little worried because so far, for me personally, Domundi's storylines just don't ever really give the way that I feel like they could and should. So at first I was like, oh, please don't do the squad dirty, because I watched both seasons of DMD Friendship. So I really wanted this series to like be really good because I knew that they would be able to deliver. And previous series that I have watched coming out of Domundi, I would just be like, why? Why is this the plot? Why did you take a sharp left when you should have went right or kept going straight? And so that was the only like reservation I guess I had going into this series. But girl, I fear Your Sky delivered what it was supposed to, and I applaud you. I applaud you. So, starting from the beginning, I was really hoping that the PO dude was not gonna be around for the entire series, because that was another thing that had me like kind of questioning, like, oh, do I want to watch this? Like, is this actually gonna be good? Because if he is the problem for the entire series, that's gonna piss me off. Like, I'm not messing with that, because his character, ew, boo. So I was very happy when we nipped that in the bud and moved on. And I don't care what anybody says, that character did not deserve a redemption arc. He was terrible from start to finish, and he did not deserve peace nor happiness for terrorizing T-Dog for that long, and for terrorizing Moonfa and his business, and just, he was just evil. So I was glad when he got the boot, because he was getting on my damn nerves. And also, from the beginning, because obviously we're aware that PO was getting away with doing what he was doing to T-Doc, because T-Doc is a well, he was a people pleaser and a pushover. But the show like presented his family as if they were like the perfect like version of what a family is supposed to be. Like if you on paper or if you opened a book and it was like perfect family, it would be a picture of T Doc and his family. And I was just like, how are they like so perfect, yet T Doc is the way that he is? Because they make it seem like his parents are like very accepting and open-minded, and that they like talk about everything to each other, and that they can come to their parents about all their problems. Like it just gave off the illusion that they were this big happy very open family. But I'm like, how the hell can they be like that and T-Dog turned out the way that he is? And then plus Babe, I'm not gonna lie, Babe was pissing me off in the earlier episodes because I was like, girl, is he not a grown-ass man? Like, granted, you know, college, were they freshmen? I think they were freshmen. You know, that's not that old. But like, ma'am, y'all go to the same university. Why are y'all treating this young man like he is 12 years old? Like, the way that he was like babied, and then like there were instances where like it was very clear that he didn't want to talk to his parents about something. And then also he confided in Babe when it came to literally everything. Like, she was his go-to when he needed to talk about literally anything, which I get it. Like, that's how most siblings who have like healthy relationships are. Because I know I have sisters, we talk to each other about any and everything. It was just, we were presented with like this perfect family of like, you know, T Doc was literally watching like BLs with his dad. So it was like, it was giving the illusion or the impression that like he could go to them for anything, but he was always going to Babe about everything. And like the way that she handled things was always like trying to protect him. Like even when it came to their parents, or mainly their dad, I should say, she was always in like protection mode. And I think that's because obviously we see how the dad really was, because there was a moment where when Dom gave her the puppy and like she was mad that he gave her a puppy, but not because of the puppy. Like she was mad because she thought that her dad would be mad. But like when she saw that her dad knew and that he was okay with it and he was happy about it, like her whole demeanor completely changed. So I think it was like small things like that that were, I guess, foreshadowing what was gonna happen later. Of like the dad really is like kind of strict and he calls the shots, and he basically like runs the house in a very he has an idea of what he feels like his family should be like, and they are basically abiding by that, I guess. Like he projects his ideals onto them and they kind of like nod and go along with it, like even if they're not 100% down, which we saw when T-Doc and Moonfa told the dad that they were in a relationship, because we see Babe is down 100% after, you know, they faked their relationship for however long. And T-Doc literally confided in Babe that she actually had feelings for Moonfa, and she 1000% was like supportive of him. So it was very interesting to see that when everything came to the dad, how like nobody really stood up for him, or really like nobody stood their ground on it. Cause like, okay, I think I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. So we saw Moonfa and the grandpa talk and play chess. Grandpa, I feel like Grandpa knew what was up from the beginning, and he was accepting of it, and whatever made T-Dog happy, that's what Grandpa wanted. And clearly, Moonfa makes T-Dog happy, and Moonfa is actually a great person. So, grandpa's down, babe is down. The mom, I'm not gonna lie, the mom kind of disappointed me a little bit because I thought that she would be on board at least. Because I'm not gonna lie, at first I was putting all the blame on the dad. I was like, oh, he's gonna be terrible just because everybody else is gonna be cool with it. But then the mom, she all about some. I'm disappointed too. Do you think I wanted this for our son? What? 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 Parents, please stop having your own ideals and goals and projecting that onto your children. And let's start treating our kids like they're actual people who are gonna grow up to have their own minds, their own thoughts, their own opinions, their own feelings, and are gonna be making decisions for themselves. You should be open, like actually, like genuinely open, and not the kind of open to where like, yeah, I can watch BLs with my son, but only because I know that he would never date a man. That's crazy. That is a crazy thought to have. And I was so disappointed in the mom when like T-Doc even first told her. You could tell that she was not really messing with that. She wasn't really down for it. But what I will commend her on was choosing her child's happiness over her own selfish wants or ideas of how she feels like her children should be living their life. So at this point, Babe and Grandpa are the only real ones in the bunch. And then you got the dad. First of all, his reaction, ew. He threw that big ass temper tantrum and really tried to like just shove it under the rug and be like, yeah, we're not talking about it. You break up with that man and you live your life the way I want you to live your life, basically. You can't hang out with your friend. You can't do nothing. You go to school and you come home until you're not gay anymore, is what it was giving. And that was crazy. It took days, which I can understand that when you've been indoctrinated and you have a certain idea for how things are supposed, quote unquote, supposed to be, or you have a vision or an idea of the life that you want for your children and you've had it for so long, I very well understand that you cannot just unlearn things like that overnight. I get that. But when it comes to your kid, their happiness, as long as they are not harming themselves or anyone else, that should be the number one priority. If you had a kid, their happiness should be the only thing that matters. So that was wild, very out of pocket. And the fact that nobody in the family was like even trying, like in the beginning, was trying to like talk to the dad about it. They were just like, no, we're going to ignore it. We're not going to talk about it. Every time the dad was like, we're ignoring it. We're not talking about it. And trying to carry on as if there's not a huge elephant in the room, as if he didn't like throw a temper tantrum and kick that man out of the house on Grandpa's birthday. That was crazy to me. Like, nobody stood up to the dad. And even when T-Doc tried to stand up to the dad, because I did notice he tried multiple times, thanks to Moonfa for giving him a bit of a backbone. He tried multiple times and nobody else ever had his back, and that always made me so sad. And then finally, the mom got on board and she started icing the dad out when she saw how sad, depressed, and miserable T-Doc was. And I'm just like, how did the father not open his eyes and see, oh, I am literally the reason why my son is unhappy in this moment. Maybe I should take a step back, reflect, and change some things. Open my mind for real. So yeah, that whole situation was crazy. I do appreciate the way that it was handled. I like that it was resolved. I'm not gonna lie, it was a little realistic, because in real life people really go through situations like this, and obviously it's not something that's solved quickly. So I'm not upset that it took a few days. That actually made it more realistic that it took a few days and they were butting heads. I just felt like his family could have stood up for T-Doc just a little bit sooner and a little bit more. And I was very finally what? I was very happy when the grandpa, because it took the grandpa finally let the son have it, and then the mom joined in. I was like, it's about damn time. Goodness gracious, people, get it together. So yeah, I did appreciate the dad also apologizing to Moonfa and recognizing his wrongs, and them actually sitting down and having a conversation, and him like really like reflecting on his actions and reflecting on his on the way that he thinks, and getting his ish together. It took grandpa being unconscious and put in the hospital, but hey, we got there, because that's also realistic, because sometimes in real life it takes something like really traumatic happening for people to get their ish together, which is so sad, but it's true. So in the end, I was very happy for T-Doc and Moonfa getting to live happily ever after. And then let me touch on some of these side couples here. Real and Hia, yeah, I need Au and Save in another show expeditiously, because I beg your pardon, the chemistry, crazy. They ate. I loved their dynamic. I really enjoyed the way that they're friends to lovers. I love me a good friends to lovers, and theirs was so good. The bickering, the teasing of each other. Oh, the way that Rio asked Hia to be his boyfriend, and the way that Hia responded, like, oh, they were immaculate. I loved them. And then Lee and I'm just gonna say poor and TT right now, because I don't think I'd be pronouncing TT's character's name right. The way that they got together, too cute. Like, it was so sweet and so gentle, and I just know that Lee saw how long it took T-Doc and Moonfa to get together, and he was like, yeah, I'm not doing all of that. And he matched his energy, and he got his man quickly. And it was in the cutest and just the sweetest way. I think the series did a really good job of highlighting and representing different forms of love, I suppose, because all of the couples are completely different and they shine in very different ways. And I just thought the show did a really good job of that. And yeah, shout out to Moonfa and Lee's parents for being the standard when it comes to loving and accepting the children and putting their happiness as the priority. Because I forgot to say that earlier. But yeah, I think those are all my thoughts. This was very all over the place. My apologies. But yeah, overall, I give Your Sky a solid 9 out of 10. Like, she was close to perfection. Easily gonna be on the rewatch list. I hope to see this cast in many more series, because they definitely delivered. And whoever directed this, you need to direct some more. This is the new standard for Domundi, and I need y'all to act on that immediately. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!